Okay, so we're back. Here we're gonna just detail the right piece and then copy paste it and replace this other piece on the left, this placeholder. Go ahead and look at the proportions first. And as you can see, I just made a ceiling top that is covering the entire piece altogether, because from the photograph, let's open it in the browser. Okay, so I'm gonna go to my project. As you can see, as I explained before, that this is all on the same level. Maybe these are a little bit thicker and they just go up a little bit more, but we're gonna just focus on this piece now, and whatever we need to correct, we'll do it after. So I'm gonna look at this piece and see how this flares. I'm gonna go back to Maya, and I'm gonna separate that top here. So I'm gonna use the multi-cut tool from the modeling toolkit. And this tool is like snaps on any points, you know. It snaps on points, on edges. So I'm gonna go and snap to the point and click on that point and go to the point across, and click on that and press enter. So now that split that edge manually. I'm gonna go ahead and select the faces. I'm selecting all these faces. See, I have the priority selection is the dot. So let me just, so that kind of, that's a better and easier way to select faces. So I'm going to extract this. So I have this shortcut here, which is extract face. So I'm going to extract that. Go to object mode and center the pivot. Now select all these lower parts. I only need to select the volume. I don't need these other ledges. And press Alt H to isolate. And I'm going to go to the right view and look at this piece. Maybe I don't want that because this is disconnected. I'm just going to delete that and just use this as my bottom part. Now, if I go to the image, and let's zoom out for a second. I think it's flaring a little bit more than I have here. So I would go ahead and, you know, select this piece, select the upper one. I'm going to combine them, center the pivot point, and I'm going to use the flare command, so which is a nonlinear deformer. What this does is it gives me these handles, and it's like a nonlinear deformer that has a bunch of interesting settings here. Let's open it. So you can see here, if I press T, I will start manipulating it from the top. From now, there's no I cannot really do any curvature because there's no subdivisions. I don't really care about the subdivisions. I only care about changing this in terms of top and bottom, and see how much I can exaggerate this. So I'm gonna make this a little bit smaller, maybe this a little bit bigger. And since I'm using both X and Y here, actually X and Z, I'm going to repair these because now they're random numbers. So start flare, I'm going to kind of even this out to 0.83, and end flare, I'm going to even it out to 1.06 or something, and that would be a little bit closer to what we see here. Now, I'm going to delete the history so I can get rid of the flare, and Control Shift H to go back to our to unhide everything else. So of course these are not going to work now. I'm going to delete these, and of course this placeholder is also just there for visual reasons, because we're gonna repair that. We're gonna replace that later with this one. And I just want to make sure that we're getting the correct kind of shape. Now for this shape here, it seems like that's flat, or maybe with a little bit of an angle. Let me go back to Maya and make sure that this is also. So because of the flare, I started kind of creating an angle here on the front. If I want to repair that angle, there's a very quick way to do it. You can use another deformer called the lattice tool. I mean, this is a very simple shape. You can actually go to the vertex and then move that. But if you had more subdivisions across, then you might want to use the lattice. But in this case, I can just move these a little bit forward. And then reduce that kind of angle from the front. So now this is sort of getting to look the same. And I'm going to go ahead and add some of these windows. I have a temporary window here, like a placeholder. I'm going to move it and scale it and move it into position. So as I move that, I'm going to look in the photograph, and this is really, really wide and taller. So that's what I have. And maybe here, by looking at the image, I want to make some evaluations here before we start detailing. So let's say I get this window. So that's kind of long. That's kind of big. It seems like once I put the windows, I'm going to have a better chance to understand this image. So I'm going to duplicate that, get rid of this other piece. So I see that I'm starting to look at the spacing here. So that's a little bit more space, and then we have that upper piece. So that seems a little small here. This is much longer. So if I select this window and duplicate it, it should probably hit. So that window will probably reach that part here. So this should be much higher. So what does this mean? Should I just move everything? Should I make this taller? Make the windows smaller. So a lot of things can happen here. Actually, one thing is that maybe the flare was too much. We can move this closer, and we can move this more up. And let's get rid of that stuff here for a second. This is let me see what this is. Yeah, this we don't need. This is this whole bottom piece. Actually, I'm going to cut it here since we need that. So I'm going to select that, use the multi-cut tool, and go to the face and delete that face. Now, I always select a model, and then I press Alt-H to isolate, and then Control-Shift-H to bring all the hidden parts back. So let's look at this for a second, and I'm going to use the edge loop tool to define some of these edges. So I'm going to go ahead and define this edge here, this part, which seems like it's a little. So I'm going to go back and undo that. I'm going to go ahead and just do it one more time. There's a small area here underneath the ledge. There's some space, and then down here there's another very thin area. Now that is actually very close to to that area. So maybe that was also like a reason to move this down and move this, and this other window, move it down too. So that gives us a little bit of space up here, which we're supposed to have some more space. Now these two edges, I'm going to delete them, because if I move them, I'm going to start changing the shape. Not dramatically, but it will change. So Control Delete and just redo them down here. And now maybe that makes it look like that. Let's see. Select these. I think we're good. I'm gonna stop the video here.